Hey everybody, it's Beaver here. Steve, Bob, Mike, Joe, whatever you want to call me. Been working on that Let's Play, but I totally forgot. I gotta get on with this serial killer rapist story. So thought I'd get another installment of Tales of the Slumlord out to you. So today we're gonna talk about this gentleman. Um, it's a very long story. It's probably going to be 2 videos, and I'll try to do the next one maybe today, if not tomorrow. And if not, probably next week. I apologize. Things are busy. Plus football season starting, so that kind of is going to take away some of my time. But I'll try to get through most of it. It's a very weird story. It's still kind of ongoing. Because he is a tenant here. He is a serial killer, and I think he wants to rape me before he kills me. But I'll get into the details of that in a minute. I want to thank everybody who's been watching my videos. I had a big boost in subscribers last week after my second Tales of the Slumlord, and I really appreciate it. And I hope I can continue to put out some good content for you guys, and you can, maybe spam me out to all your friends and everything, and relatives, and bank tellers, and fast food people. Just tell everybody about the Beaver. It'd be awesome. But I just appreciate everything, and I'm having fun doing this. Not looking for fame, but it is fun to know people are watching your stuff and enjoying it. So I will continue to try my best. I should hopefully only get better at this. But here we go. So yeah, I have a tenant, and he's a serial killer. This guy came in I'd say it's probably around, probably early spring, and he wanted to see an apartment. It was one of my late nights, and it was still pretty dark. It was still not staying light out long enough, so it was dark out, which kind of added to the creepiness. But he's a tall white guy, late 50s, but his demeanor just came off really odd. And it probably didn't help because I think I just finished watching the season of Dexter with John Lithgow in it, and he reminded me. I mean, just the way he carried himself was exactly like the John Lithgow character. So it was like really freaking me out, and made me really uncomfortable. So I just hoped I could just give him a brochure and send him on his way, and he'd never come back. But nope, he wanted to see a couple apartments. So I grabbed my keys, and back when I started this job, my wife bought me mace because she was always worried because it's not a great area of town. And that was the first day I ever grabbed it to bring with me to show an apartment. So I got all my stuff and we headed out. As a general rule, especially at night or with people I'm uncomfortable with, I try to not let them walk behind me. I try to stay beside them or walk a little behind them. I like to know where they are at all times. This guy, no matter what I did, no matter how I tried to maneuver myself, he always stayed right behind me. It was really, really freaking me out. So we get to the first apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and I open the door, I walk in, and I stop. And he walks in, he stops, he stares at me. And he's just sitting there staring at me, and I'm like, I made the motion, I gestured him to, take a look, walk around. If you have any questions, I'll be right here. Let me know, and I'll answer them. Because I'm not going in there with you. I'm going to stay right by this wide open door. I didn't tell them that, obviously. But he hesitated a minute, and then he just finally said, okay, and he started walking around. He came back, said now he'd like to see a 1-bedroom. So we walk over to the 1-bedroom. At the time, I was secretly texting my wife, telling her that I was with a serial killer and that she could split my belongings up any way she wished. We get to the 1-bedroom, and I do the same. Open the door, stand aside, let him walk through the apartment while I stand by the open door. Meanwhile, me and Liz continue to text each other, and she's like totally freaked out because she's kind of a worrier at times. So we leave the 1-bedroom, and I hope to be done with him, and he stops me as I get outside, and he goes, "Oh, I want to see the basement." Damn, basements are really creepy here. Totally creepy. I don't want to deal with this. So I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So we go back inside, and we got to go downstairs. And I'm sitting there and I said, after you. And he's like, oh no, after you. And I'm like, no, really, after you. He's like, no, no, after you. And I'm like, come on. So I conceded and I quickly ran down the stairs and showed him around. And then he goes, I want to go look at the 2-bedroom again. Come on, dude. Seriously? Just kill me already. God. So I show him the 2-bedroom. We come back to the office. He says, everything looks great. He says he'll keep it in mind. He's not moving right away, but he's just looking. So, if he wants to, he'll come out and fill out an application. He really liked the 1-bedrooms. About a month later, he shows up and he wants an application to fill out for a 1-bedroom apartment. We talked for a little while, maybe because it was daylight in the middle of the afternoon. He seemed like a decent enough guy. He's got a good job at a local hospital, makes good money, pretty even-tempered dude, easy to talk to, which I guess is how he suckers you in. But anyway, I think maybe I overreacted a bit when he first came in. So obviously he's not a serial killer. Why would I think that? So we get him set up and approved, and he tells me that in a couple weeks he'll know when he wants to actually move in. I told him that he can move in anytime. I believe it was after May 31st. He called me back mid-May and said June 7th would be his move-in date. Well, I was leaving for Vegas on June 6th, so I needed to schedule the lease signing for before the 3rd, which was a Saturday. So he said he'd come in on May 31st at 6:30, and I'm like, cool, fine, that'll work great. I'll get him everything he needs. He'll have the keys, and then on June 7th he can move in while I'm, well, I should probably talk about my Vegas story someday, and what was going on. I think probably on the 7th I was getting my ribs broken. But anyway, on May 24th, which is a Tuesday, I was sitting at my office. It's around 6:30, and he walks right in, says hello, and sits down. And I'm like, hello. And then, like, what can I do for you? And he's like, oh, I'm here for the lease signing. And I said, well, you set that up for the 31st. I don't have your lease. I don't have your paperwork. I don't have your keys ready. We can't even try to do it. And he apologized and said, wow, that's crazy. I can't believe I screwed that up. And then he just sits there. And I'm thinking, get out of here. So I got up, started doing some busy work, and he starts asking me a bunch of personal questions about my life, my family, what I've been up to lately aside from working. It's like, dude, you are a serial killer. Get out. He finally gets the hint and sees that I'm way too busy, which I wasn't. I was just making up stuff, acting like I had anything to do. But he takes the hint and he says goodbye until next week. So then the 31st comes by another week, and at 6:30, here he goes, right on the nose, and we go through the lease signing. It's no big deal. He's not being overly creepy this time. But at the end of the lease signing, he just sits there. I thought we were done. Nope. I mean, I'm even saying, well, take care, have a good, you'll be able to move in. He just sits there. And then he asks me if it's possible if he can move in Friday that week, which is the 3rd, I believe. Because he just got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and if he could start moving his things in early, it would help him out greatly, and he'd pay us for the extra day since he doesn't actually take possession, according to the lease, until the 7th. I told him that I wouldn't need the extra money, but I would have to see if the apartment's even going to be done by then. That month we had broken our record of 6 move-ins we broke our record of having 6 move-ins in 1 month by 8. We had 14 move-ins that month, so it was really crazy. So there's very little extra free time to get apartments ready 4 to 5 days earlier than they were scheduled. But I said I would ask and let him know the next day on Wednesday. He was grateful, and luckily I had a 7:30 appointment where he would have never freaking left my office. So we get ready to so Wednesday calls. I call my maintenance guy in the morning. I say, hey, can you get that apartment ready by Friday? And he said he was in the middle of something. He'd have to go look and see what he has left to do, and he'd call me back. Well, he forgot, and so did I. And then I got a call from the serial killer at about 4:50. And I got off at 5 that day, and he wondered if I had an answer. I apologized to him, said that I would call him back in 2 minutes. And so I called my coworker, my maintenance man, and he said it just wasn't possible. They had cleaned the carpets that day, so it would be 24 hours till he could get back in. And he still needs to paint the bathroom, paint the bathroom and the kitchen. He had to repair a wall in the bedroom from the previous tenant, and the cleaning crew was scheduled to come in on the 6th to clean it, and they couldn't change their schedule because his date was for the 7th. So no, moving in on the 3rd was not going to work. Sounded reasonable to me. Again, he's working with 14 move-ins, and everything is scheduled based on the dates the tenant gives us for when they want to move in. So I figure this guy's, he's a serial killer and all, but he's pretty nice, and so hopefully this won't be a big deal. So I call him up, expecting, some mellow, "Oh, okay, thanks," and I apologize, and I say, unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. We would have to do it. 7th is the earliest we can get it ready. Wow. Yeah, that confirms it. This guy's a serial killer. He got so angry, and the worst part of it is his voice completely changed. I mean, he's very, like I said before, he's very even-tempered. He just, "Hi, Steve. How are you today?" And then this, I was like, "What do you mean I can't move in? This is unacceptable. I need to move in. I had the day off." And I'm like, wow. I mean, it was weird. It was like the devil possessed him. I was totally freaking out. And I told him, "Listen, I explained why." And he's like, "This is unfair, and this screws everything up for me, and you don't know what you're doing, and how could you be so inconsiderate?" It's like just screaming at me, and I'm like, "Listen," I got really annoyed. I interrupted and I said, "This is the problem. You should have told me, a week ago that you wanted to do this, not on like the 11th hour. There's nothing I can do. I'm not going to take this kind of attitude. I'm hanging up. You can move in on the 7th. Take care. Bye-bye." And I hung up on him. And I think that is where we will stop it for the day. And I'll start working on the next one for sure, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you come back for the big finale where I die. No, I don't.